What's up, awesome YouTubers? Ryan1988 or Justin back here to do a video for you guys, and today I decided to do a random fun top 10 video because I have some free time and I wanted to make a video for you guys. And so this video is going to be my top 10 favorite horror movies from 2011 to 2015. You know, we're halfway in the decade and there's been a lot of great horror movies that have come out. Some bad ones that have come out, but for most part, I've seen a lot of great horror movies throughout 2011 through 2015 that I wanted to talk about and share with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this list. If you haven't seen any of these movies, I highly recommend them. These are films that, you know, when I was picking this list, these were movies that I could see myself watching over and over and loving them every time and never get tired of watching them. And this list was hard because there was a lot of other great horror movies that came out between 2011 and 2015 that I absolutely loved. But the ones that I picked, I'm pretty confident with. I love these films. I love them for different reasons, and I'll briefly talk about them. I'm not going to go into too much detail because some of them you guys have seen, or most of them you have. Some you probably haven't seen yet that I recommend checking out. And if you haven't seen any of these movies, these are 10 films that I highly recommend giving a watch and checking out if you're wanting to watch some new horror movies that you haven't seen yet, or if you're getting into the horror genre and you're wanting to check out some, you know, first-time watches. These are ones to check out. So the first one I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to do this a little bit differently. It's going to be number 1 to 10. The first one I'm going to talk about for my number 1 pick is You're Next. Awesome movie in my opinion. A great mix of comedy and horror together. I love this home invasion movie. It's one of my favorites. I believe this came out the same year that The Purge came out. And even though I love The Purge, personal opinion, I do love that movie. I feel like this is the better home invasion movie. And in fact, it's better than, you know, The Strangers, which I loved again. But You're Next, I saw this movie 3 times in theaters. Had a blast with it. I love the director. What's his name? Adam Wingard? I believe I'm saying it right. I'm probably saying it wrong. But, yeah, I love his films. You know, there's 2 movies, this one and another one I'm going to be talking about on this list, which you probably already know what it is. But I love both his movies. I think he's made some awesome films, and I'm looking forward to the future projects or future films that he comes out with. I just think he's one of the best horror movie directors around today, and a very underrated one. You know, his movies get talked about, but they don't get talked about as much. If you have not seen You're Next, definitely check it out. It's one of my favorites from 2011 through 2015 that I really recommend checking out. Another thing I love about this movie real quick is our lead female character, played by Shawnee Vincent. I believe I'm saying it right. I met her at Horror Hound in 2014. And she was awesome, and I love her in this movie. I think she's just awesome. She's a great female lead, fantastic. And then the music, of course. You know, for me, I love the catchy song that plays over and over. It adds something special to the movie, and then of course you have other themes or other scores of music going through the film that I love as well. But if you have not seen You're Next, definitely check it out. It's one of my favorites from 2011 to 2015 that I recommend you watch if you haven't seen it yet. But that's one that a lot of people have watched, but if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. The next one, and I know a lot of people have seen this one, but for me, this is one of my personal favorites through 2011 through 2015. And my second pick is The Conjuring. Just a scary film in my opinion. I watched this movie last October, and I'm going to admit, you know, watching it in the dark and watching it for a 5th time, this movie still scares me. And it's the subtle creepy moments that creep me out, you know, the stuff that you don't see, but it's supposed to be there and you're imagining it in your mind. That's the stuff that creeps me out, and this movie does that in several places throughout the film. But I love the atmosphere in this movie. I love the cast. I think everybody did such a great job. And James Wan, again, like Adam, is just one of the better modern-day horror movie directors out there. And if you have not seen The Conjuring yet, which I'm pretty sure you have, check it out if you haven't. Just awesome. My number 3, and this is another Adam Wingard. I'm probably saying his name wrong again, but this is another Adam film, and it's The Guest. Now, this is more of a thriller than a horror movie, but I had to put it on this list. For me, this is probably out of Your Next and The Guest, probably one that a lot of people have not seen from Adam's films, the 2 that he's made so far. And I love The Guest. For me, this is just, again, you know, like every film I'm going to talk about, one I can watch over and over and over again and not get tired of it. I love the music in this film. It really sticks out. I love the music. I love the look of the movie. I love the cast in the film. Dan Stevens, who plays our lead character, awesome job. I think I'm saying her name right. Mika Monroe. Great job in this. I'm looking forward to more films with her in the future. She was in It Follows, which in my opinion was an awesome movie. But for me, The Guest, you know, it easily made my top favorite horror movie thrillers last year in 2014. And it was in my top 5 favorite movies of 2014, period. I just love the film, and I feel like not a lot of people have seen this one yet. If you have not watched it, please go check it out. Just an awesome movie. You know, the plot overall is kind of basic, but it's just awesome. For me, it's an awesome movie. So definitely check out The Guest if you haven't seen it yet. One of my favorites. The next one is another one, and I just talked about it. It Follows. You know, for me, you know, I know this movie, some people love it and some people don't like it. And that's okay, everybody has their opinions, but for me, I love the film. I saw it in theaters, great time watching it in theaters, and I rewatched it on Blu-ray, and I still love this movie. Things that really stick out with this movie for me, our lead girl, again, what's her name? Mika Monroe, hopefully I'm saying it right. I'm probably saying it wrong. But she did a great job in this movie. But the music, I love the music. Very creepy, very subtle. The cinematography looks great. You know, a lot of people, you know, say it's definitely similar to John Carpenter's Halloween, and that's definitely true. I love the look of the film. Just great movie in my opinion. For me, I love the premise of the film as well. I think it's unique and different. And, yeah, just awesome film. If you have not seen It Follows yet, check it out. You know, you might love it or you might not, but I personally loved it. And if you're wanting to find a great original horror movie, check out It Follows. The next one, I believe this is number 5. Yes, it's a Rob Zombie film. And for me, it is The Lords of Salem. This came out in 2013, I believe. And I loved the movie the first time I saw it. And it's one of those films, I watch it over and over, and I still love the film. I never get tired of this movie. It's definitely his most darkest film in my opinion. You know, Devil's Rejects was dark for its own reasons. House 1000 Corpses was dark for its own reasons. But for me, I feel like this is his darkest movies made so far. And Rob just did an awesome job with this, from the cast to the look of the movie, the setting of the film, the music. I just love The Lords of Salem. And for me, I find this to be just a very underrated movie. You have people who love it, who've seen it, and you also have people who don't like it, who have seen it. But for me, I absolutely love The Lords of Salem, and it's a great movie to watch around October, and since that's coming up in about 2 months, I look forward to popping this in again and watching it in October. So, great Halloween watch. So, The Lords of Salem. My number 6 is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D. You know, a lot of people hate this movie, and I don't understand it. This is one of those movies on the list that I just don't understand why people hate it. For me, it's a fun slasher movie. You know, you got fun kills. The Dan Yeager, who plays Leatherface, honestly, he gives one of the best performances that any actor has played, who have played Leatherface. You know, you can't beat Gunnar Hansen, but for me, I think Dan Yeager is the second best Leatherface we've had. Just fantastic. He's brutal. He's just awesome. But I love Texas Chainsaw 3D. You know, some people had a problem with the timeline, but, you know, you kind of have to go in open-minded, in my opinion, and just kind of push that aside a little bit and just enjoy the movie for what it is. You know, I love it. I just think this movie is awesome, and I feel like it's a very underrated film, and for me, it's one of the better Texas Chainsaw Massacre films in the series. So if you haven't seen Texas Chainsaw, give it a watch, go in open-minded, and have fun with the movie. That's what horror movies are supposed to be. We're supposed to have fun with them. We're supposed to get scared at times, but, you know, just have fun with horror movies. And I love Texas Chainsaw. For me, it was awesome. I saw this in theaters twice, and I've seen it probably about 6 times now, and I still love this film, so Texas Chainsaw. My number 7 is a recent horror movie that came out, and for me, go see it. I don't think a lot of people have seen it yet, but it is The Town That Dreaded Sundown sequel or remake. I really personally don't consider it a remake because they make references to the original movie. The original movie is playing throughout the beginning of this film. So I would say, if anything, you can call it a sequel. I love this movie. And in fact, even though I really enjoy the original film, I like this better. I like that it's a little bit more brutal. The first one's brutal. There are moments in the original film that are brutal. But I like that this one, it seems to be darker. It seems to be more brutal. I love the deaths. I think they're great overall. Not one of my favorite elements of this movie, but I think the deaths are great. But I love the music. I love, you know, the Phantom in this film. The acting's actually really solid in the movie. I love the, you know, orange that they use a lot in the film. They seem to use the color orange a lot throughout the movie, and I love that. And just an awesome movie, in my opinion. And I feel like a lot of people still haven't seen it yet. So if you haven't seen it, check out The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Right now, you can get the Blu-ray exclusively at Best Buy. It comes out worldwide, or, you know, it comes out officially, not officially, but it comes out, you know, everywhere September 8th. But if you want to get the Blu-ray now, definitely go to Best Buy, or if you just want to get the DVD, you can get that one in any stores, basically. So, but The Town That Dreaded Sundown, I highly recommend it. One of my favorites from 2011 to 2015, so yes, awesome movie. My number 8 is Insidious, the first movie. You know, I always go back and forth. Do I like the third movie or the first one better? But I love Insidious. I still love this movie. I've seen the film over and over. It still creeps me out. James Wan did such a great job with this movie. I really have not been disappointed too much in a James Wan movie. Now, Insidious Chapter 2, the first time I saw it, I was disappointed in it. I felt like, you know, it was just not a strong follow-up to the first movie. But rewatching that movie over and over, I've grown to appreciate it. I think it's his weakest film that he's made so far, Insidious Chapter 2. But the first film, in my opinion, is just awesome. It's still an awesome movie, and I love Insidious Chapter 3. I cannot wait to pick that one up. I believe it comes out in October, so I'm looking forward to that. But if you have not seen Insidious, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have, but if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. For me, it's one of my personal favorites from 2011 through 2015. This came out in 2011, I believe, and it still holds up strong, so love the film. The next movie I'm going to talk about is probably the most underrated film in this series, in my opinion. And when I saw the trailer for this movie, I believe this is a 2014 film. I believe it's 2014. 2014 or 2013. But when I saw trailers for this movie when it was coming out in theaters, I really had no interest in seeing the movie in theaters. I thought the trailers looked terrible. But watching the movie, actually, I feel like this is a great movie. And it's actually one that creeps me out. I watched this recently, probably about 4 weeks ago, and the film creeps me out. And it is As Above, So Below. For me, just awesome, and I don't think a lot of people have seen this one yet. I highly recommend it. I think you're gonna get a creepy, atmospheric movie. I love that it takes place in the, you know, catacombs in Paris. That is just awesome. I saw a story, you know, quite a long time ago on TV. I think it was Scariest Places on Earth. They did it, where they talked about the catacombs, and I was fascinated with that episode and the catacombs, and I love it. I love the catacombs. But I love that the fact that As Above, So Below took place under there. And for me, it's an awesome movie. The acting's actually really good. I think, you know, it's just great. And it's very claustrophobic, if I'm saying that right. Sometimes I say it wrong. But it is. It's very, you know, very tight. You're in tight spaces in this movie. You feel bad for these characters. The music, creepy. I find this music to be really creepy in the movie. And it's just awesome. I love the film. If you haven't seen As Above, So Below, check it out. I recommend it. I think out of all the movies, this and number 10 that I'm going to talk about are films that a lot of people still have not seen. And for me, I recommend it. So, As Above, So Below. If you've seen the trailers and you're like, yeah, this movie doesn't look great, I was the same way. But when I watched the movie, I was so wrong. Check it out. It's one of the best. And my number 10, for me, you know, this is the only DVD, and it was a toss-up between the movie I'm going to talk about and The Sleeper. I love The Sleeper. Awesome film. And there's a lot of other movies that I did not put on this list that I think are awesome, like The Innkeepers and a lot of other great ones. Paranormal Activity 3, in my opinion, is the best one of the series, and I almost put it on the list, but I picked other movies out. But this film, in my opinion, when I was thinking of this list, I said I have to add this movie because, in my opinion, I don't think a lot of people have still seen this movie. And it was one of my favorite horror movies of 2013. And it is Would You Rather. Now, I want to get this eventually on Blu-ray. I don't have it on Blu-ray yet. But I got the DVD, and I watched it, and I thought this movie was just awesome, in my opinion. Very intense. At times hard to watch because they have to make these choices that are just really, really cringeworthy. But yeah, you know, for me, I'll talk about the plot a little bit in this one, and I won't spoil anything. But basically, it surrounds these strangers who come to this party, and they are offered an award of money. But the thing about it is they have to go through these different tests and, you know, these different would you rather scenarios. And as these would you rather scenarios go along, you know, people are kind of picked off one by one, and the tests get more hard every time and more intense. And it's just, for me, a fantastic film. Awesome movie. Awesome film. And I recommend Would You Rather. I feel like out of all the movies, As Above, So Below, and Would You Rather are ones that people still have not seen a lot. And for me, this is one of the best horror movies / thrillers that have come out between 2011 and 2015. So if you have not seen Would You Rather yet, please go check it out. One of my favorites. Just absolutely love it. So Would You Rather, my number 10. So that is my top 10 favorite horror movies between 2011 and 2015. I'd like to see you guys do a video response possibly and talk about yours, or leave a comment down below horror movies that you loved between 2011 and 2015. Like mentioned in the beginning of the video, there's been a lot of great horror movies that have come out. There's been some bad ones, but for most part, I've seen a lot of great horror movies between 2011 to 2015 that I loved, and I had to take some off the list, but, you know, for me, I think these top 10 films are the ones that I could sit down and watch over and over and not get tired of. Just awesome. Awesome movies. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in my next video sometime in the future, maybe another top 10. I'll start doing these again. I love top 10 videos. Top 5, top 10 videos. They're awesome. And they're going to be on different other, you know, topics. So, but yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys soon. Happy Friday to you all. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you later. So as always, you guys are awesome. You guys rock. In with the positive, out with the negative. And go eat some Skittles. Alright guys, bye.